You've seen the moves, but do you know what it's called, where it came from, and that Madonna didn't actually invent it? This is voguing.
It's like this birth of fashion and birth of new dance.
Emerging from the Harlem ballroom scene of the 1960s, this style of dance exploded in the 1980s as an ode to flamboyance, fashion, and the art of striking the perfect pose.
Just like a model is trying to think of a different pose for the photographer, you're trying to think of a new pose or new movement to go with the beat.
Quite literally named for the magazine, Vogue dance moves are meant to mimic the poses of a fashion model. The true pioneers of voguing were members of the LGBT community in the 70s and 80s, almost all of them people of color, and particularly drag queens. The underground ballroom scene served as a safe space for expression. Theatrical competitions where dancers would parade down runways in opulent attire. Of course, this wasn't your regular runway. This was athletic, gymnastic, and downright dramatic. For the competitive dance battles, teams were grouped into houses, each established by a parent.
A house is like a gang or a clique, but basically a house is like a family unit.
Pepper LaBeija,
the legendary mother of the House of LaBeija.
Willie Ninja was mother to the House of Ninja. Houses were either named for the founders or after popular fashion houses at the time. House of Dupree, House of Extravaganza, House of Omni, House of Chanel. In 1989, the Love Ball, hosted by Suzanne Barsh, served as the voguing community's first major AIDS fundraiser. The epidemic made a tragic impact on New York City's voguing scene, and the Love Ball allowed actual fashion brands to partake in the dance form they inspired by paying to compete against each other. Iman participated. So did Naomi Campbell. Madonna was there too. This was voguing's introduction to the mainstream. And a year later in 1990, Madonna's hit song Vogue topped the charts. The singer then plucked dancers from the hottest clubs and ballrooms to serve as her backup dancers for her Blonde Ambition tour. That same year, Jenny Livingston's documentary Paris is Burning won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance. It chronicled the New York City ball culture and explored how its subjects overcame adversity of all kinds, from race and gender identity to AIDS and poverty. Said Livingston, it's about survival. It's about people who have a lot of prejudices against them and who have learned to survive with wit, dignity, and energy. It's a little story about how we all survive.
This is such an underground scene that is so powerful because it's like people that have been oppressed. You're making it into like, we're not oppressed, we are fabulous.
Today, the impact of voguing is everywhere. The popularity of RuPaul's Drag Race is just one example of the culture's widespread acceptance. Pop icons like Rihanna, Ariana Grande, and Beyoncé have all incorporated Vogue moves into their performances. As this style of dance continues to permeate throughout pop culture, it's important to acknowledge its origin. Voguing was a movement in every sense of the word. An art form, yes, but perhaps more important, a celebration of the oppressed, the exiled, the outcasts. To vogue, in its truest sense, is to embrace our differences, throw shade at anyone who tries to tear you